Hello, Scott. I assume you're excellent.
Yes, I am. Thank you. I assume you're excellent.
Yes, I very much am. Thank you. All right, it's time. Our final call here. And I want to mention two things on this call. Also, ask if you have any questions. Of course, you can drop them in the chat and I'll take them. But two things I want to mention. Number one is do not be tricked by your outer world. It is so tricky, but don't be tricked by it. So, what do I mean? It is so tricky, but don't be tricked by your outer world. The world on our outside reflects to us the states that we are in, but in the manner, and this is very key, in the manner as if it is independent of us, which is exactly how it's meant to be. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just what we do with it that matters. So the world on the outside reflects to us the states that we are in, but in the manner as if it's independent of us. There is nobody in this world that's ever, well, had to wave their hands like this, just the physical hands, and then they see strings of um, magnetism or whatever else you might think is responsible for creation, and they see strings of that coming out from their hands and affecting the entire world. Meanwhile, that's precisely what's happening every moment. From their assumptions, in fact, they're they are continually pulling the strings of reality and shaping the very fabrics of the entire experience of their world. But you won't see it that way. Because in fact, it's gonna look like the whole thing is doing itself by itself for something, something, and something on the outer. It's often begs the question, is this an open system? If it is, well then, what's the first cause? If it is a closed system, well then, there is nothing that is causing anything. However, we don't see that by as an obvious thing. So in other words, don't let your outer world trick you into believing that it by itself is making itself run and operate. It is not. It is the world within that's actually cursing and creating the world on the outside. That's the first thing I want you to notice, to note. No matter what evidence your outer world gives you of self-sustaining, you must understand it is your state within you that is actually creating the outer conditions of your life. Your state within you. Always appreciate that. So, for example, if you look at your finances, it will look like they are so independent of you, a number of things are just happening, and boom, you're having this financial result. But it's not. It is your inner world that is causing and determining those experiences of the outer. It is your inner world that is making them happen the way they do. Your inner world is the one pulling the strings of what is acting and pulling the strings of what is being the effects. It is what is being the seeming cause, what is being the effects, your inner world. But there is no evidence of that in the outer, so don't be tricked by it or don't fall under the illusion. Actually, it is a delusion. Don't fall under the delusion of that. That's on the one hand. Now, on the other hand, take the future seriously. And by this, I mean, I have an interest in actually making the future different from the present and the past in an actually different thing. You want to create results for yourself. You want to produce these astronomical experiences. You've got to believe that your future is alterable by you, absolutely and completely. And then also actually do the intervention. It's one thing to believe it can be altered, it's another thing to do the actual altering of it. So you've got to believe it's alterable and then actually alter it. If you truly want to produce phenomenal results in your world, there are just two simple things I want to call your attention to. Let you be aware of and encourage you to master. I'll repeat them. Number one, don't be tricked into seeing the outer world as having the cause of the effects that you see in it. It doesn't. The cause and the effects are both effects of the inner world. And that is actually what its nature is meant to be. It's meant to be so natural that you wouldn't see if you were looking into it. It's a dream. So it's meant to really give you the impression of being self sufficient, all complete. That's what your dreams of the night also do. That's why you're glued to them, to the reality of them. Okay? It's meant to give you the impression that it is all complete. But don't be tricked by that. Recognize that you are still the creative power behind it all. That you are still the one making things happen the way they do. That you are the one causing things to move, roll the way they do. And the second is be so invested in what you want the future to be. There's absolutely no other reason for you to actually try to do anything except that you go, okay, I want. And when you speak of want, you mean that which will succeed what is currently occurring. So you're talking about changing the successes of your life experiences at the moment. So I want to be a trillionaire. So whatever is going to succeed, my current experience is in trillions. That's what I want it to be. The future, I want to secure it on the level of trillions. So those are two lessons I want to share. And of course, if there are any questions, all right. Would you share about carrying the attitude? Would you share? This is a great example of the first two delusions you're sharing. Would you share about carrying the attitude after the act is done? Romanticizing being in the city as you were sharing. My idea is to assume I'm in it. Anyways, good. Would you care about would you share about carrying the attitude after the act is done? That is what we've also seen in our inner conversations lessons. That's the way you sustain the attitude. If you remember, if you go and you read it, you actually find that expressly mentioned in it. You see that expressly mentioned in it. And if I could just 1 minute to read it, it says that is exactly how you sustain an inner conversation. We must persist in the feeling. The word feeling is the same as attitude. In the feeling of our, or in the attitude of our imaginal act, by making our mental compositions conform to what we would say that we already realized our aim. We're always talking to ourselves. Must first recognize that you're always talking to yourself. So if you will sustain the attitude by just simply making sure that your inner conversations moving forward are nothing of the reverse. Not the inner conversation of how am I gonna do it? It's not gonna work. Tired, fed up. They they didn't make it work. They did this, they did that, they stopped it. No excuses, no justifications for the limitation, none of those things. If you would portray your inner attitude in that manner, you'd actually change your outer experiences. And that's how you sustain the attitude after the act is done. Okay? So just always, it worked. I am great. I am God. I'm divine. I'm the greatest. It happened exactly as I imagined it. Okay? I was congratulated. I'm being congratulated. I'm highly celebrated. That's how you do it. Now, speaking of the dreams of the night, would you share about revising them if that is applicable to this call, or revising them to be the trillionaire that I am? All right, sure. If you have any dream, first, actually, oftentimes the meanings of your dreams might be something powerful, even if they look horrific. Okay. Or they appear horrific. They might be deeply mystical and enlightening. However, if it doesn't give you, it gives you a quasi feeling, or it doesn't give you a peaceful feeling, an adorable one, and you don't like the meaning that you have of it. Because your meaning is what's important. You don't have to try to go, I have to figure out the meaning of the dream. Maybe I got the wrong one. If you feel it meant something you don't like, that's what's important. Your meaning is an assumption. So you've got to change that. But just ask yourself, how would I really have preferred to have dreamt it? Let's say you dreamt yourself in an old house, looking after an old man, and the entire thing is like something out of the 60s black and white TV, and it's all old. Well, you do want for it to be a colorful mansion, and you are the one being taken care of or looked after. Just change it that way. Just imagine. Completely forget the old man and completely forget the dream and change it into the dream you'd like it to be. That's what you do. That's how you revise it. And then of course you dream it. Like you dream it like you're actually dreaming. And then it happens. It automatically flows into your outer experiences as a result. So that is it. And this is our simple lesson for today. But they are really powerful, and I want you to pay attention to how you use them. Don't be tricked into thinking the outer world is final or that there is only cause in it. You've got to find the cause in the outer world. No, don't be tricked into that. Remember, consciousness, everything is imaginal. Everything comes from imagination. And the more you think that is not, the more you do want to just go on and test it that it actually is. So if for any reason you look at your outer world and you find this is the cause, all the more reason for you to actually imagine the outcome you want without wanting to go through that cause. All right. And of course, be so interested in your future that you're willing to alter it and that you know it is completely alterable today. So those are our lessons here. I'll see you in our further studies on trillions for the rest of the year. Until then, bye bye, everyone.